What's going on, everybody? It's time for another horror thriller film review. Today we're going to talk about a film called The Unheard. This is a Shudder original. It was released March 31st, 2023. It was directed by Jeffrey A. Brown, who did other films like The Beach House, most notably. But he also did two other films, Sulfuric and The Wooden Box. Alright, so The Unheard is a story of a young deaf girl who undergoes a experimental procedure that she learns about online, and they try to fix her hearing somewhere in her head and add like a device so she can help her hear. So she's slowly starting to hear people talk and things like that, which is sort of very similar to what things are happening now with this type of stuff. But yeah, and then as she to celebrate. She basically goes back to her old family home where her dad is going to meet her, and basically goes there and takes in the vibes and starts to sort out her life a little bit more there. By that, while she's there, she starts hearing these weird calling and stuff that doesn't seem to be actually there, and she's not sure why. And then as you continue on with her, she learns more from the neighbors of what actually happened to her mother and stuff, and then she starts hearing more of these, and they're not sure um, if it's her just thinking she hears this, or if there's actually something in the house communicating with her and stuff like that of that nature going on. So you're on this mental ride with her, trying to figure out what's reality and what's not there. And yeah, overall, this film is super slow. This is a hour and 45 minutes, and it felt like three. And yeah. Um, Overall, I thought the acting in this film was pretty well done, and the cinematography is good. It looked pretty good and stuff. It's just the story itself was very slow paced, and I don't mind a slow burn, but holy, this was a snail's crawl. Um, because you could tell there wasn't much to it, and they tried to blow it up into something a little bit more interesting, which it kind of has the same feel as Hush, which is similar to this, but that one's way more of a thriller suspense film. This one is it sort of falls into that in the later half, but the build up to that is so slow and stuff, and they have very slight paranormal-ish things mixed in, which sort of enhance it a bit when it happens, but then it's just a slow melting pot of boredom. I was pretty bored through this movie, if you couldn't tell. This is not, it wasn't really my type of movie per se. I liked the concept of it, but I thought the way they depicted it and the way like what happened to her mother and how she finds that out was really corny. And then the climax scene was very, it had an interesting little twist, but as soon as a certain character comes into frame, you know exactly what's going to happen. And they prolong that for so long through the climax scene, and then they continue on a little bit after with a lot of unnecessary scenes and stuff. It just dragged and dragged and dragged, which brought the movie down. Yeah, so like the special effects, cinematography, and acting was really good. It was just the story and the writing was just overblown and bloated beyond belief. So it was just super slow and diluted. Some people might like this for that reason, though. So I think you need to have a specific taste for this type of movie if you're gonna like it. But for me, it was just too slow and super boring, and not enough to keep me enthralled to watch further and stuff. I was kind of zoning in and out quite a bit, and it just wasn't working. So with that, I'm gonna give The Unheard a 2 out of 5. It was pretty boring, really slow, and just overall needed a lot more in that time frame that you're with the characters and stuff. Also, you're with the main character the most, so if you don't really click with her or feel anything with there. You're kind of just dragged on the slow journey. And I think that's what happened to me. So, but if this sounds like something you might be interested in, it is on Shudder, so you can check it out there. But also, I'll link the trailer down below so you check that out. If you want to see what I'm talking about, that'll be linked down below. Also, make sure you check out my Instagram. That's linked down below at Derek P. Or link down below. That's where I post video clips of films I'm going to review in the future. All my stories at the Film Time hashtag, Assumption on Film the hashtag, so you're aware of it. Also, my Letterbox is down below at Derek P Reviews. That's where I post my first star rating after watching the films. And also, my Twitter is down below at reviews_Derek. So follow me on those platforms. Stay with this channel. Like this video, share so more people aware of it. Comment your opinions of the film down below if you have any. If you have any films or film franchises in any genre, and on any streaming service that you want to hear my opinions on as well, comment those down below. Try my best to get to them as soon as I can, and if I can find them. This isn't sponsored by Shudder, by the way. But yeah, make sure you subscribe. Hopefully, we'll find something weird, obscure, and odd that you probably never thought of checking out together. And also, so hear my opinions on popular films that have come out, classic films, and reviews on other things as well. And don't forget to ring that bell because I'm going to review a classic horror thriller that came out in the early 2000s. The Australian Wolf Creek. So I'm going to check out that and tell you my opinions on that in the next review. So make sure you tune in for that. And, watch out for all those deaf people getting these procedures, thinking they're hearing all these weird things that aren't actually there. And I guess I'll see you all in the next review. So until then, cheers.